Adela's The Provocateur is what sweaty dance pop club music should be post-Brat in 2026.
We're so excited to talk through Adele's The Provocateur. Welcome to episode 3, OCD Sound System. So, oopsie, I we recorded half of this and we actually didn't record it. We just were zooming and talking about it because I thought I was recording. So, we do know each other's thoughts on the first half of the album, and yet we're happy to share them again because I would talk about this album for hours.
And you matter so much to us.
You matter. If nobody's told you today, you
Sienna,
matter.
I ate today.
Adela, you ate today.
Period. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing that I was really excited by, and if I'm being completely honest, this is not an album that's new to me this week. I've been listening kind of a ton since around October of last year. Adela has been everywhere. She's been co-signed by Troye Sivan, which makes sense because several of her tracks were touched by Zone, producer who produced Talk Talk, Rush, and has like several Kesha collabs under their belt as well. So I think that's what contributes to that electro pop, danceable, maybe even electro clash, crystalline feel. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I am really excited by this, and it's not a new EP to me, but it hits me with moments of discovery and excitement nonetheless.
So I hadn't listened to this EP in full before reviewing it, like not even close. Alyssa sent me Sex on the Beat like a few months ago, and it's one of those songs that just was added to a playlist of mine. I was like, that fits perfectly. I'm not gonna listen to the rest of the EP because this song satisfies me, which I tend to do a lot, which is like a bad habit. But regardless, I did my preemptive one article reading before recording, and I learned that Adela was in Dream Academy and like has kind of been in the industry in this like space that I wasn't aware of. So that when I kind of got into the album, which we'll get into the first track, Superscar, I was pleasantly surprised to see that this album takes form in someone who's so self-aware of their position and so aware of how the industry is kind of warping and also like shaping her career. For someone who's such a new artist, it's really cool to see her enter with so confidently like a fuck you to, but also like I'm subservient to the industry that is going to make me. But it is done in the most fun, clubby, post Britney way that it excited me so much. And more about Superscar. Let's break it down. It's specifically like 2010s era Britney to me that I hear her, and I love that she's very like sensual in it, but you can tell with her vocals that she's about to deliver across the EP a lot of range, which is great to open with what you're about to give it to us. But like it's like breathy, sexy, like slapping drums, and you already get the very mechanical vibe of the kind of formulaic pop production that she leans into that's 2000s-esque. But the Ariana-esque vocals are fun. She goes so high and it really tickles your ears, and what an opener.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Something that I was really fascinated by as well is that room for play where she has that equal feeling of being critical of the industry, but also resigned to it, which is what you said, like a fuck you, but also a thank you to the machine that she has entered and is inevitably a part of, so long as she tries to profit off making music. But the mechanical pop production structure also feels clear to me in terms of just like the composition of the song structurally, where these songs make sense. You can tell that you're, or you know, because you can hear that you're getting a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus, and then you're going to get another verse, and then you're going to get a bridge, and then you're going to get an outro. And it doesn't really falter very much, but she still plays a ton, whether it be shifting a emphasis or a beat drop to a different line the second time it comes around in order to keep it exciting, or whether it just be in the lyric choices that she makes, or if it's production choices like in Superscar, that from the intro you get that really nasty tire screech and you know that you're just in for something very cool. To me, it felt like a sleazier sports car. It felt very reminiscent of both Tate McRae, but like gayer, and Addison Rae, but like equally as gay, but just like kind of less sunshiny, a little bit more grimy than Addison as a counterpart. But yeah, thank God for synth heavy, deep bass pop. This is a song and an EP that juxtaposes tantalizing, airy, sensual vocals with deep, heavy, guttural bass. And it's cool. It's self-aware. Lyrics like "put on a show for me" feel sarcastic and biting. All these dirty hands, they want to touch me. But then following that directly with "so touch me" is the culmination of this resignment as well as criticism.
I think what she does so well is she leans into the aspects of pop stars of eras past that maybe certain things like being too sexual in lyrics and dancing too promiscuously were like brand safety issues. She's basically like, which leading into the next song, Sex on the Beat, she kind of breaks that down further where it's like, if the industry's gonna, you know, if these dirty hands are on her from the last song, she's gonna give Sex on the Beat. Again, a song that's like a calculated, techie, mechanized drum beat, but blown out vocals. It's which repeat throughout the EP, like blown out speakers, blown out vocals, blown out bass. But the chopped moaning, the breathy size chopped, but the chopped moaning, it happens infrequently. But I'm sat every time. I'm at the edge of my seat, like, wow. The bassy breakdown at the end as well. That's what my orgasms sound like inside of my head. The male vocals, I was like, get a man out of my ears. But then I was like, the Timbaland of it all. It's like Nelly Timbaland vibe.
It's early 2000s. I think there's an Ashley O to this.
I said the same thing.
It's impossible to ignore. The pink hair is the giveaway, but I know that that was on the mood board. Like it just had to have been. But that equal part of all knowingness about having to give something that doesn't necessarily feel like it's deserved, but still doing it in order to secure profit, and in order to secure popularity is exactly the plot of that Black Mirror episode with Miley Cyrus, where she's Ashley O. And kind of the stupidness of the lyrics of "On a Roll" by Ashley O felt like portions of Sex on the Beat. Although, I mean, I don't think it's stupid at all. I think it's Britney, it's electropop, it's grimy, it's cunty, it's diva. She went for it. She really said tits first through the door, like who's the label whore. Yeah, exactly. Growl. whispery, reverby, sexy vocal delivery, but those chopped moans and just like those choices like that. And just the fun of it feels kind of catchy and almost kitschy in the way that On a Roll by Ashley O felt.
And I love how it raises like the questions of like the legitimacy of like a super manufactured artist and everything that goes into making an artist popular, and like that's clearly what this EP is about. Like it's it's so potent that like that's being addressed in every choice that she makes. Is like when it feels very like pop formula, it's like feels ironic almost, which is really cool. And it's something that I think can be done in like a cringy way, but the more the EP progresses, which like we'll get into more of our favorites later, like you the lyrics, even as kitschy as they kind of like get, it it is so effective and is the point, which is something I think was designed so well for her. And people will say when she inevitably takes off that she is an industry plant because of her background in the space and in the industry. And I think she leans into it in such a self-aware way that it's like almost like a weird, like post-ironic industry plant thing. And it's really cool. And I think if recognized by people that that's what she's doing, it will be like a really cool thing.
Definitely. And it's interesting that in interviews that she's done, she's set it up to kind of be unclear unless you listen to her music that the self-awareness is there, because her shtick in interviews is obviously like her identity as I think she's Slovakian. She's a Slovak. She has said time and time again, I don't see people from Eastern Europe making it in the mainstream US centric pop music space. And obviously now she's going to be the figurehead for that. Um, but it's interesting that she's playing the I'm just like you, like it could be anyone card, I guess, especially for Eastern European women or people. But at the same time, she knows that she was part of the Hybe Geffen machine and is writing all about it, um, which I think will be interesting to explore as people grow to be fans of hers, because they'll feel like they have an extra window into her psyche and experience through the music, which is the best marketing tool for music. So I think if it's not calculated, which I doubt it's not calculated, it's just brilliant. Um, that being said, I still had a couple things to say about Sex on the Beat. I think the moaning that starts to cut there builds the craziest climax of a chorus, no pun intended, but also like pun
Also builds my climax.
right? Yeah. Which, you know what? This whole EP is a climax build. Um, Adela's whole career, climax build. That's what we're summing it up to be.
We'll see you after.
Wait, can we do like a Washington Square Park
Adela look-alike contest.
contest? I'm pulling up.
Wait, I need that. Addison Rae one coming soon as well.
Yeah. You can go to you can find your mate
My
at the Addison Rae con. One more thing. I really liked the choices, like I had said before, the choices that were made in order to disrupt this very templated structural approach to this EP were very interesting to me. And on Sex on the Beat, I liked that there was a very rapid flip between the pacing and melody of the repeated refrain line. So give me rage, I give Sex on the Beat, where it's like a broken up staccato delivery and then a very smooth sort of straight to the point delivery. It's just interesting. And those are the moments that keep it fresh, despite that traditional structure. And honestly, make it very deeply transportive in that repetition. And then the ad lib that follows, where she says, um, the ad lib where she repeats fetishize, all mine, and you'd like specifically as she sings I think it's second verse of the song, don't quote me, have her crying out. And it's desperate, it's primal in all of the right ways. And then you just get absolutely gunned down by that beat. Um, and then you get gunned down again by the portion, which is my favorite choice, I think, that she makes on this album, specifically in tandem with the high frequency synth, so that it's a competing pull for your ear up and down. And it's just so wonderful.
It's really cool. And I think the pull between like the high up and high down is something where I like kind of see where she draws hyper pop influence, but it's done in a way that I prefer, almost like in tandem with like the blown out mic and everything like that. Like it's almost just the fact that it's her doing it makes me like it.
I I honestly have a point that I've really been thinking about why this is more palatable, hyperpop or electro clash. Um, and it's because you are not expected to sit there and listen to a bunch of instruments assault your ears for 3 minutes straight. The structure of this still leans very clean pop because she'll flank a electro clash portion with very melodic, um, traditional pop structure or sounds, or just like letting it be smoother synths before you get into that mess and busyness. And I think you really hear that toward the second half of this EP specifically, because I think that part leans more electro clash. This first, the top half feels hyper pop, though I think Sex on the Beat is the most hyper pop of all of the tracks on this EP. But that choice to make it, to give you as a listener reprieve and time to settle before your ears are expected to absorb all of that sonic information at once, is extremely helpful, especially for somebody whose primary genre and appeal is not drawn from hyperpop or anything like that.
That makes sense.
Let's move on to Machine Girl.
Machine Girl was my least favorite on this EP.
Agreed. And I mean, it's interesting when we agree, and I feel like we tend to agree when it comes to pop specifically,
Yeah, we do.
which is
I
cool.
think I think like we both have a taste for pop that is like tailored. And like it's kind of hard to navigate sometimes with newer pop releases because everything feels, well, I think there was a period in time like maybe like for the last 10 years minus the past 3 where it was like pop kind of sounded the same. And now we're at a point where
Bricks were cheap.
pop's, yeah, and pop's kind of like settling into different popular niches, like just like I guess like sub categories blending other genres, and this particular electronic situation is what we agree on a lot of the time when it's in tandem with pop, which is cool. But it opens, this song Machine Girl opens in a very K-poppy way and then transitions into very Britney to me. I said that this song sounds to me sometimes at points like 3 by Britney Spears, and just makes me think that she's a cool, robotic Britney.
I agree with all of that. I thought that despite this being my least favorite track, I think that her vocal range is undeniable on this one. Even the lyric, whoa, why don't we ask the crowd? Her vocal range on that, she just sounds great.
Yeah.
Um, And I'm also impressed by the transitions between these structural sections um, of the songs. And my favorite one on the entire EP happens on Machine Girl, which is the transition from the chorus to verse two. There's a warpy, distorted vocal, and it's just cool. And then the bookends from something that feels so full and mature in the middle section. The bookends are, like you said, it very K-pop at the start, but the end being la 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 is so cute and is so, it pays homage to her. Yeah, it's so K-pop. It pays homage to her roots, I guess, with Hyben Geffen.
For
Um,
sure.
and calling the song Machine Girl, but then so obviously alluding to that past is towing the line between criticism and performance, self-awareness so, so nicely.
And this song made me fantasize about Adela hopping on a Gorillaz track. And I think we need to make it happen. So, anyone want to get in contact with Damon Albarn?
Why don't you just call gorillas up? Now let's go to our favorite.
We
Homer.
share a favorite. We share a favorite, and I love when this happens. Home wrecked.
It's so good. The song starts the hardest and sincerest of anything that we've gotten so far, which is interesting in terms of a track structuring perspective, because you've just come off of the la 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 K-poppy, cutesy, girliness, and now you've got vocal power leading instead of that airiness or instead of that tongue-in-cheek delivery. Um, and it's cool. It's interesting also because the pace of this song feels much slower, but if you listen to the beat specifically, the pace actually isn't very slow. I think it's just that there's a flow that feels so smooth to her vocal delivery that it just like washes the whole song in more of a calmness or a slower pace feeling.
Yeah, I basically like shared everything. All of the things that you liked about the song I liked. The the beat is bouncy almost in like but like still like very mechanized as is on this whole EP, but like I don't know, it's muffled and it's cool and I love that like what you said, there's something about this beat that's unlike the rest. And it's palpable and kind of directs how then in turn her vocals are very different than the rest. But this song really like felt like despite how intense and like almost like running away the lyrics are, it really just made me want to let my sweaty hair down, particularly sweaty, and shake it out and dance with my girls and like it just feels like a release. I loved it. And it's like a little the beginning, this is kind of weird. I don't know if you like also felt this. The beginning sort of felt like Halloweeny.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's the is this is does this open with that synth that's like kind of organ like, or is that not this track?
I don't
There's some
remember.
track that, hold on, there's some track that has an it's an ascending synth. I think I don't know if it opens with that, but that's what gives me Halloween that is on Home Wrecked.
The her vocal runs are so fire on this. Really, like you said, like shows off her vocal ability. And last note is that it's like a little bit Charlie XCX nachos, but we're eating them.
Create them.
We're eating them up. And this kind of starts like the three track run of Home Wrecked, Go, and Death by Devotion is my favorite portion of this album. Down to, well, we'll get there, but alas, it starts a fun ride. I love Home Wrecked.
Totally. I also think not only is this the vocally the strongest we've gotten so far, it's also lyrically the strongest, I think, on the EP. I also think structurally to put your three best songs in the place that they sit here, especially when you have two really strong opening songs, is a really great choice. It makes this feel cohesive and it makes it feel satisfying all the way through because you have to get through a little bit in order to get somewhere so magnificent. Um, Lyrically, I'm super impressed. My favorite run is right before the first chorus, which is, but I think I'm sorry, which is because I used to be a good girl, but I think I'm growing thorns. You slam the door. Oh, father, you've been warned. Better watch your back. I'll catch you with that dirty little whore. And after calling herself a whore on tracks that open this EP, that's an interesting choice to kind of project that in a way. And then she makes the most amazing choice to explode the instrumentation and production on the word dare, which follows. The line is dare you to tell me, don't shoot your baby, et cetera, et cetera. Which again, she's referring to herself as his baby, presumably, while criticizing him, which again is that play between resignment and criticism, which I think is the whole point of this album thematically, uh, which is just interesting and new. But the choice to build and explode on dare as a word is so clean and so right, because the word matches the intensity of the sound which follows. And then she makes another interesting choice the second time that this chorus comes in and changes the impact moment or the impact lyric from dare to the second syllable of baby. So it's don't shoot your baby. And right there, we get the explosion of sound, which is an amazing production choice and keeps it fresh and interesting, even when you start to expect, oh, now I'm getting to the chorus, like here's what's going to happen. She keeps you on your toes. And then those elongated vocals that feel belty, even or feel big, even when they're not belty, are cool. And she does it best on the word now after the lyric, look who's home wrecked now, in the latter part of the song. And she holds now for 4 whole 8 counts, which is not only impressive, but also just like weird. So it's cool.
It kind of feeds into like the AI of it all, where you're like, are do humans usually like do that in songs? Like, but it's really cool. Like, there's small choices that this can only really happen in pop, where the small choices that go against the grain production wise feel rebellious, yet so contained and clean in how formulaic it is. So it's cool, and like it's it's subtle in how it kind of surprises you, which is awesome and really fun. The next track is Go. And oh wow. I love this one. Like, I love this one. It felt super desperate. And like, I would for sure, like, this is immediately going onto the playlist that I use for the treadmill because I feel like it's like super explosive, like like indication points to start sprinting. But what a drop. The like shouted vocals are amazing. Very like muffled, but also then like blown out speakers with like how intense it ends up being. I, it's like kind of like Sympathy's a Knife to me, sonically, kind of sisters. When like
I
in like
definitely
the in the like way vocally she leans.
I felt like this could be a track that was on Brat for sure.
I for
So
sure felt that.
I also this is a track that really felt electro clash to me. And it feels so good for the reason that we stated, where the structuring of it gives you melodic, um, like synthy, more traditionally pleasant to listen to sections, and then leads into that really feel good, euphoric electro clash portion. Yeah, I love the whispers and the synthy vocals and what that brings. Also, it's so cute to say, dye my hair pink, I'm so crazy. Like, that's the kitschy, cutesy part of this, which is so K pop.
Yeah, and then but then she's also like, bleach my ends off. Like it's like, but then that's so not. Like it's like she loves like the leaning into like the kind of dolly appearance, and then is like also like bleaching her hair. Like
Yeah.
it's like not a wig. It's like it's so it's
It's
so she's so
grimy,
herself.
but it's also put together. It's trashy ballerina, which is
Need that.
the aesthetic of late 2025, early 2026, most definitely, and Eliza's dream aesthetic. And also, I guess, a little bit mine in ways, although I'm not trashy. I think it's interesting to think about how I am always so drawn to artists who bring this unabashed sort of griminess and diva-ism forward, which I definitely think like sass and diva-ness, diva-tude, if you will, is part of my personality. But I don't, and always has been, but I am so restrained and controlled and focused on appearing in a certain way in a certain box. And so I'm very drawn to the sonic choices as well as just the thematic choices and appearance choices that an artist like Adela or like a Charli XCX or like a Billie Eilish will make, um, that I guess I feel a level of gratification from that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like just, I mean, aesthetic wise, like I love that she's so femme. In like she's just like a Bratz doll. She's just so feminine and like, but like undeniably like her album, the EP cover, like that's not feminine. Like it's
No,
not, and
she's like
it's
she's
like putting your Bratz dolls in compromising positions, and it's so cool. Like it's so fun. It's like she's just her existence within the pop space, specifically within like this like hyper produced space that she's kind of exited, is she's just like an oxymoron. Like how could Adela be, backed by a label when she's putting sex on the beat? Alas, she does it, but
and it's because we're in a I mean, obviously we're in a time period where the moral panic is never going to win because we're marketing toward a younger demographic, which is inherently more accepting, just from a socio-political, or you would hope. But from like a social and cultural perspective, it makes a lot of sense why she would be appealing now. And it's that openness from the demographic that she is catered toward, which I think swings a bit older than Cat's Eye for sure, which is why she has the play to do that. But also, just multiplicity is always going to be the most interesting shtick. So to have that and to be equal parts rhyme as she is put together is just interesting and real because we're all that.
and I think it's really cool to see that pop is championing a rebellious kind of spirit within it, because it is the most like pristine and produced genre, and like it's not enough for punk and rock stars to be like the ultimate signal of like rebelliousness to culture when guitar music is like largely dead to the masses. So I think rebellious pop stars are so necessary for children, like for like teens. Like
I
I would have loved this girl when I was like 14, and like I love her now.
well, we had that, and I really fell for it.
Yeah. It's just it's cool to see that so many of the like girls who run pop right now are so rebellious. Like it's really cool. Like Chapel's rebellious by nature of being gay, and also being a drag queen. And Charlie XCX is does blow on Maine. Like I don't know. Like Adela's just like hot and a robot and really fucking cool.
And Billy is like being a boy visually.
More of this.
Obsessed.
And but then that
And
contrasts with
Sabrina is so in tune with her sexuality and chatting about it constantly.
yeah, there's and that's like I mean her whole marketing for her last album I think was so I mean people hated it but it was tongue in cheek and like that original album cover like she's not reducing her like whatever not to get make it about Sabrina but I think it was way more intentional than I think people like to like reduce any potential irony coming from an artist who's like that big. But
I am so excited to get into Death by Devotion because I think honestly, Home Wrecked and Death by Devotion are neck and neck for me as my favorite.
I agree.
The
Definitely.
genre elements from the last song, the electro clashness of it remains in the intro here, but then we get so airy and so lifted in the stacked vocals that follow and the smooth synths, which add weight and impact next. It's just, again, back and forth. I keep doing 6, 7 hands through this entire um, podcast, so ignore. But I mean, I'm making it difficult to ignore when I call it out myself. Nobody would have noticed. But I love the pre-chorus lyrics as well, which is a big thing for me. And I know I said that my favorite lyrics were on Home Wrecked, but there is ear candy in Sticky Like a
Sticky like a
Magazine. It's
sticky
so,
like a
what does that
magazine.
mean?
It means like Playboy magazines that get come on.
What?
Yeah. She's talking about like raunchy like porn mags. Sticky like a magazine. I would think.
Girl, wow. I
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like have been racking my brain trying to think about what that means. And I could have just looked on Genius and found it. Every time it's just like
Horse
so
no ketamine. Horse no
no.
ketamine.
It's so
It's like,
stupid.
dude, no homo, but it's no ketamine. Horse no ketamine. Horse no ketamine.
That's so good. But yeah, the lyrics are amazing. The this is this is another track where I feel like you can tell she's a dancer because it makes you have to move. This whole pre-chorus section of sticky like a magazine, sticky like a magazine. It's just you have to. There's no other way to react to that than for like your body to just like do all of the breaks and little cuts that exist in this song. It is magnificent.
It was immediately like from the jump. I wrote the intro makes me want to join the military because I feel like this could be in a propaganda ad and I'd fall for it. Um, but like
Gay
it's like
military.
gay military and it's Adele as the general. But it's swarming. I felt like the layers of like synth were like stretched nylon over the song. Like like she does such a great job of like atmosphericizing like every sound to like feel like it's like part of like a cog in like a broader like music video that's playing in your head, which you're just at the club like that's the music video. But I felt like it was very Bjork Army of Me, that song. And then the kind of like breakdown behind the chorus was very like Nine Inch Nails-y to me, which was cool. The screaming was so hot. And then that outro
It's a vibe.
was unreal.
There was, for the only time on this entire EP, kind of a rock and roll guitar line on the breakdown chorus, which I was like,
That's what I'm saying. It's like Nine Inch Nails.
kind of random.
But it's like the techno rock. Like I
It worked.
heard the same. I heard the same thing, and we got the same thing out of it.
Fire. It was cool. That's kind of all I have to say about that. Should we move on to finally apologizing?
Yeah.
You won't get what you want from me. Oh, yeah.
Another song that I didn't love.
It's my second least favorite.
I'm with you. I think it was fun, but kind of felt the laziest in terms of vision. Like it was almost like plot of song is me being a brat who doesn't like to apologize. Like I still thought it was like fun, and I liked the kind of like the money is everything Addison Rae childlike like layered vocals, which was cute. The popping of the drums was fun. That was
It's
kind of it
good,
for me.
clubby, bass boosted moment. But when she set the bar so high across the rest of these tracks, I hear why you said it felt lazy. The lyrics do fit perfectly, though. It's cheeky, it's sarcastic. This also to me felt like it could have been on Brat in the breakdowns. And I love how abrupt the end is. It's the right choice tonally for the song, but it's also, if the most exciting thing to me about your song is the way it ends, let's maybe do something different.
I'm
But
with you.
I mean, I enjoy it in the context of listening to the full EP, which I'm a big top to bottom EP or album girl, but this would never make it onto a playlist of mine ever.
Agree.
Yeah. So that being said,
That's
what's
that. My rating. I'm giving it, okay, like I feel like I explain this every episode, but like I'm giving it the rating that I feel in my chest, okay? Like it's not like if you were to break down all my opinions on it and like try to average it out, you wouldn't get this, but I'm giving it 7 out of 10 hairs left on my head from bleach damage.
period? I was gonna say I've I have made 7 magazines real sticky.
Off the dome.
Thank
Off
you.
the dome. That was good. That was good stuff. What a fun fucking album or EP. But
And we had the same rating, although this is something I can't rate it higher because I know that like music that has changed the trajectory of the pop music landscape and or music that's just more impressive or I don't know, but
you can't standardize like the way music makes you feel based off of how objectively good. Like it's very hard to rate music. It's always been very hard for me to rate music because like or rank music because it's like yeah, this album was such a or EP was such a fun listen. I thought it was really well done and it makes me really excited for the rest of her career, but it wasn't like I liked Addison Rae's album more than I liked this. You know what I mean?
I do not feel that way. But my
That's
thing
fair.
is I'm afraid of if I were going purely on the way that this album makes me feel, girl, tens. Tens
Right,
across the
right.
board. I love her. I love this album, but I don't want to say like I don't want to say 10 and then it's disingenuous because I know that there's music that I prefer. Yeah,
Talk
exactly.
about a 10.
Exactly. Like that 10 for sure.
10.
But should we do that next week?
Wait.
Oh my god, it's so exciting.
Oh
Wait,
my
I'm
gosh.
so excited.
I think that might be a 2-hour episode.
Okay, we could do half and half.
No, let's run it.
Let's
Let's
send
rip
it.
it. Like
Do
it
it
is
for episode
it's
this-
only my favorite album like ever. Like
Let's Let's do it. Let's do it.
Wait, sounds like a plan. Are you guys down? Are you guys down for Discovery by Daft Punk?
Wait, yeah, because then you guys can listen too, and then you tune in, and when I say like some random shit, I'm like, in the second verse at the end of the song, there is a shift, and then I don't mention like any of the lyrics, so you can't refer back to what I'm talking about at all. So maybe if you listen in, you'll know what the fuck I'm going on about.
Maybe, but even if you don't, you should just know. It should just like you should just follow what we're saying without any complaints. But I think it'd be fun if we do that, like lean into the robot vibe that we love from Adela this week and give him some real robots to talk about. So we're gonna handle the French robots next week. Actually not next week, 2 weeks, but
See you guys.
see you.